You know, 2024 has kicked off with a bang for Sennheiser in the wireless game. We've seen things like the Sennheiser Momentum 4 True Wireless Earbuds that I just recently did a review on. We have the Xenom Plus headphone that just came out, and now we got the first ever Momentum Sport True Wireless Earbuds that have biometric sensors on the earbuds. Let's check them out. What's cracking, everyone? My name is Ryan, and today we're taking a look at the Sennheiser Momentum Sport Earbuds. Now, these are Bluetooth 5.2 earbuds from Sennheiser. They retail in at $329.95. These come in graphite, olive, and black, like I have here. And I want to send a big thank you out to Audio46, who did provide me with the Sport earbuds in exchange for all of my thoughts and all of my opinions. Now, the first thing I want to do is a high-level overview of the features of the earbuds. All right, so first of all, these feature a heart rate and body temperature tracker built in. They have a sport sound to them, which means they are actually semi-open sound to help you pick up your surroundings just a little bit better. But we do have adaptive ANC. There's a sport ecosystem compatibility with apps like Polar and others. These are a secure fit with different fins that they include in the box. They are IP55, which means they are shock, dust, and sweat resistant. They have 3 mics on each earbud. Now that is to assist with transparency mode, ANC, and of course communications. And then they are SBC, AAC, aptX, and aptX adaptive for the codecs. Lastly, these are QI wireless charging compatible as well. Now let's go ahead and take a deep dive into what you get inside the box. All right, so first thing, looking at the box, you're going to notice it has all the features and things on the outside, pretty typical, but you open it up and you're met with a few accessories. Now, first thing you're going to notice is that we are given small, medium, and large tips, and these do have a soft silicone feel to the tips, and there's a mesh material covering up the holes of the nozzle of the earbuds. Then we're going to be given some ear fins that will assist with the fit. Now you can have small, medium, large, or no fin at all, which is just a round ring that will cover the earbuds. It's actually what I have on mine right now. You have a USB-C charge cable, and then you have this silicone charge case, which I do like the fact that it has a little flap that covers up the USB-C charging port that protects that from weather and things like that. It is a little bit on the bigger side of a case, but it is grippy enough with that silicone touch, has a premium feel to it, I would say there as well. And then you're also going to be given a lanyard if you want to, hang the case to a belt or to a clip or something like that. Now, lastly, are the earbuds. Let's talk about the build and comfort of those next. Really quick, if I could grab your attention, don't forget to like the videos and subscribe to the channel and help me get to 5,000 subscribers by the end of the year. And I also have a Patreon. If you'd like to join me and support the channel through that, I would highly appreciate that, guys. And I will let you get back to the video. All right, so then taking a look at the earbuds themselves, I will tell you that these are a round shape to them. They do have a flattened portion for the touch controls. And these are not glossy, they're not really matte either, but I never have any issues with dropping these, which is nice. So they're not slippery to the touch. Don't pick up fingerprints very well either, which is also nice. Now, the tips, as I said, these are very soft silicone tips and they are comfortable. And you're gonna see these sensors underneath the earbud here. Now, the left earbud is gonna be where you'll get your biometrics, such as your heart rate and your body temperature. But when you put them in, you just put them in your ear and you give them a nice little twist, and they are perfectly fit and snug in my ear. Now, I don't need to use the fins, but if you were to use the fins, you would twist them and then tuck that fin behind. Now, I will show you a little bit of a comparison between myself with my bigger ears and my wife with her very tiny ears. Now, Bree found these to be very comfortable as well, which is nice to know because these are a little bit on the big side for smaller ears, but very, very comfortable. They're about 6.4 grams per earbud. And when you have them in the case, it's a total of about 91 grams. So no issues at all with fit and comfort for me or Bree. All right, now let's take a deep dive into the app next. All right, we're going to talk about the app settings outside actually, and it's a little bit windy out here right now. And might rain. So the first thing you're going to notice is firmware, whether it's up to date or not. The next thing we're going to see here is audio resolution. This is to set whether you're using standard or high-res audio. Obviously, high-res audio is going to have more of a battery drain. The current codec that is playing, that is going to tell you when you're playing your music. Battery eco mode is simply to deactivate aptX if you don't want to use the highest quality audio and conserve battery. Smart pause is a feature, so if you take the earbud out of your ear, it's going to pause your music. Auto accept calls, same thing, you can toggle it on or off. It will automatically accept the call in your earbud as opposed to your phone if you have that toggled on. Auto power off, just like it sounds, you can set it to different intervals or not at all. Tone and voice prompts, choose your language there. Factory reset, just like it sounds. Feedback, just like it sounds. You can give Sennheiser some feedback of what you think about their earbuds. Kind of a nice thing. Battery protection mode. I definitely recommend turning this one on. This will actually have it so that you will never charge to 100% of the battery of the case and the earbuds. And I like this because that will prolong the battery life of your earbuds over time, because these are, after all, disposable devices anytime you have something wireless with a battery. And then tiles. This is just something you can toggle on and off for what you want to see when you go to the devices tab in the app, which let's go ahead and go look at the devices tab next. All right, so taking a look at the devices, one of the first things I recommend you do is actually scrolling down to the very bottom to fit test. Fit test is going to tell you the fit and seal of your earbuds, but more importantly, it's going to be your loudness. So you're going to listen to a music track from Sennheiser while you are deciding what is a comfortable listening level. That's basically setting your loudness. I definitely recommend doing that before getting into EQ or anything else. Now, going back to the top, there is connection management. It's for multi-point. It's going to tell you what you are connected to currently besides your phone or laptop or whatever else. Also, there is controls here. Now, one really nice feature about these, and it's nothing new, is that you can control these by tapping the side of your head here or even behind your ear here. You don't have to hit the earbuds for your skip features and things. I really like that about these earbuds. Sport sensors. Now, this is the biometric feature of the earbuds. This is going to tell you your current heart rate and your body temperature, and really nice feature to have, and I'll run through this here in a bit, but it does work with some different apps as well. EQ. Just like it sounds. You go into the equalizer, first thing you're going to see is a 5-band equalizer that will go plus 6 dB all the way to negative 6 dB for the different levels that we can choose here. And then you have presets. If you go into presets, you're going to see 8 different EQ presets all labeled for you. The nice part about this is you can jump into each preset and customize it. Save it that way. If you screw up, no worries. Go back and just hit that restore all Sennheiser presets and it's back to default. And then at the bottom, you will see your own personalized presets that you make, along with create new with sound check. Now that's the next thing we're going to get into is sound check. Actually, before we get into sound check, I do want to also note you can use bass boost or podcast mode. Bass boost gives you a serious bass boost just like it sounds, and podcast mode basically drops everything out for vocals. So if you're doing a podcast or if we're talking, things like that. Now, sound check is probably the second most important feature, I would say, other than the fit test. And that is because you're going to be able to listen to music that you know, and I can't recommend that enough. Listen to a track that you personally recognize and know how it sounds, and go through sound check and listen to different parts of the EQ that you customize. You get to the end of it, it's going to spit out your custom EQ. Now you can do this with a few different songs, maybe different genres that you want to set up, and you can name them that way. But it's definitely a feature I recommend everybody go through. Noise control, that's your ANC, your anti-wind, and your transparency. Then you can adjust the severity of the transparency mode. Also for phone calls, you can toggle on or off if you'd like to activate transparency during calls and whether it's low or high. And there's also an auto pause feature so that when your transparency mode is activated, it'll pause your music. I kind of like this, especially if you're in the house and you want to hear, what your kids are doing or something, or if you're at work, somebody asks you a question. That's nice to be able to pause your music and do that. And then there is sound zones. Now this one I'm a little bit conflicted with because you need to have location services turned on all of the time if you want to use sound zones. And that is because it is going to recognize the location. So if you're in a gym, something like that, you can set up transparency mode, EQ settings, whatever, as you go into those different zones, home, whatever. It's a nice feature. Again, I just don't like that you have to have location on all the time. And then there's controls where you can customize the different controls of the earbuds, of course. You can also toggle on whether you want the controls to be working. This is really nice if you're just not wanting to be distracted with tapping the side of your head. Also, a funny little side note about controls, you actually might want to toggle it off when you're chewing food if you have a poppy jaw like I do. Sometimes I'm chewing on the right side and my jaw will pop and music will skip or it'll pause or whatever. It's kind of annoying, so, you know, something you might want to consider. All right, so that's all the features of the app. Now let's take this back inside before I start to get poured on with rain. All right, so another big feature of any earbud is going to be the communications quality of the sound. Now, I did do a test outside walking a trail with the family. All right, doing a little audio test now as we are walking out some trails by our house here. It is a beautiful day in the good old Midwest here, just walking with fam. Not a lot of noise around us, probably some birds and things. Not sure what kind of wind noise I'm going to pick up as well. You guys want to say hello to Bree? Hey! Yeah, we're just out walking with the fam and testing the audio of the Momentum Sport earbuds. Back to me. All right, so a little bit noisy, I get it, but I wanted you guys to get an idea of what that sounded like because that is similar to when you're using these to make phone calls. I made a call to Bree when I was out and about. She said my voice sounded very clear, but she was able to hear a lot of the noises around me. Now, I do think that is because of the semi-open nature of the earbuds, so not the best quality, I gotta say, for communications, but it definitely works and it's serviceable. Didn't have any issues with dropouts or anything like that. All right, guys, really quick, as far as the ANC goes, it is just okay. I think something like the Sony XM5 beats out this for the ANC quality as far as that goes. I do think that open sound that you get out of these earbuds probably is part of the reason for that. Now, the anti-wind mode I find to be pretty darn good. In fact, pretty comparable to the Sennheiser Momentum 4 TWS that I just did the review on. Transparency mode works perfectly fine as well. And this is all with me talking through the earbud again. Now, as far as battery goes, you're going to get about 5.5 hours. Now, that's going to depend on the quality of music and the loudness that you're listening to. This is rated on about 85 dB of listening, and you're going to get about 24 hours total time out of the case. I can definitely attest to that. It seems pretty accurate. I didn't have a way to measure that, but that 5.5 hours felt pretty good. Now, you can pop these in for about 10 minutes of charge time, and that will get you about 45 more minutes of playtime of these, which is very nice. Now, distance-wise, these are pretty standard. You're going to get about 10 meters. That's basically what I got before I started to have any kind of dropouts on the distance. All right, before we dive into sound, I do want to talk about the biometrics tracking that is in the earbuds, specifically the left earbuds, and really what gives these the sport name from Sennheiser. Now, Sennheiser's gotten a little bit ahead of the game here because this is something I researched that more and more earbud companies are wanting to adapt. In fact, I know Apple is actually working on this with their next iteration of the AirPods. Now, when I first saw this, I thought, well, our watches track heart rate and body temperature. Why would we need this in earbuds? In fact, you can't read it. It's just in your ear. Well, upon research, I gotta tell you guys, this is more accurate than this when it comes to heart rate and when it comes to sense and body temperature. So as soon as I read that, I thought, okay, well then that makes complete sense of why you'd want that. Now, if you're somebody that's really into physical activity, exercising, working out, things like that, this is a great way to tell you if your body's heating up too much, you need to hydrate, or if your heart rate's really going, you're getting a good workout. So I've been impressed with the fact that this is in the left earbud and it tracks really well. Now, the one kind of downside to this is you are going to want to download the Polar app, or at least one of the other third-party apps they recommend, and you're going to need to sign into it. You're going to need to create an account and have just another app to go along with the Sennheiser Smart Control app if you truly want to unlock all of the things that you can do. You can create yourself workouts with this. You can give yourself goals to hit with your heart rate or with your body temperature. I mean, it is honestly a next level type thing that you can unlock with these in the sport nature of things, and it just makes a lot of sense to me, and I've been very impressed by that. Now, what I've also been impressed with is the sound quality. So let's talk about that. All right, so you can't call these a sport earbud and not have some good thumpy bass. And these have some good thumpy bass by default without the bass boost. And I'm gonna give you a track recommendation that I think you should really test out. and that is called Wonder Where We Land. You'll see the artist pop up on the screen. This particular track has a lot of bass rumble at the very beginning, and it doesn't last very long, but it's going to give you a good idea if you really have some boominess to your bass for whatever listening device you have, and these definitely have it. If you turn bass boost on, this does muddy up that mid-range a little bit. I will tell you that, because it gives you that extra amount of bass if you truly want to unlock that and go for it. Now, mid-range, I would say, is a little bit on the relaxed side. In fact, as we roll into kind of the heart of the mid-range, I find that to be a little bit pushback to that nature. You know, snares and things when I'm listening to a lot of my rock and roll music, that isn't quite as evident, but I do think vocals actually sound pretty good on this earbud. And that tells me that as we get into that, you know, upper mid-range, you get enough there of presence to where you're not gonna, you know, have your bass or anything else drowning out a sense of a vocalist if you want to listen to that type of music as well. And then the treble. You know, you have this bass response that is boomy and has a decent amount of slam, and then you have this treble that has this nice sparkly but delicate nature to it, to where it is a V-shaped tuning. That's how it kind of comes together, and that makes it a lot of fun. And in my opinion, a sport earbud needs to be a lot of fun. It needs to make you want to listen to your music and get up and go. And that's what these definitely do. And that is without EQ. Now then you can obviously EQ these and make them even more fun or more whatever nature that you choose to go with. The other thing I find fantastic about these earbuds is the extra bit of airiness that you get with the treble and that openness that you get with your sound, so that you get the environment around you, actually makes for a bigger stage experience on some songs. And one of them I want to talk about is The Memory of Our Love. And on this particular song, there is a guitar that is off to the left at the very beginning. And I remember playing that and I thought, wow, that is very isolated out here and pinpoint accurate. And these are earbuds. I'm not hooked up to any kind of wires. I was very impressed with that track and just the openness. And then I listened to some more live recordings and things, but I gotta tell you, movies and gaming, you know, if you're like on a treadmill watching a movie, this is gonna be a lot of fun. It truly is. Now, is it going to be as pinpoint accurate or as articulate of sound as, say, the Sennheiser Momentum 4? No, I don't think it is. I think that has a tighter bass response. I think that has a more detailed mid-range, but that is more of an audiophile type earbud in my opinion, whereas these are definitely geared towards the sport person and the person that wants to just enjoy their music and go and doesn't want to think too hard about it. But don't get me wrong, these still have excellent sound quality to them. And in fact, you don't even need to hear it all from me. I'm going to let Bree tell you what she thinks about these compared to the Sony WXM5.
What I really like about my Sonys, I actually love the ANC on that. There's just an awesome like deadening of sound when I really want to be in the zone with my music. There's also this really cool feature that if my kids come running up to me, I'm able to just speak and it will pause my music, which is really cool because I get too confused on like how many times you tap or where you hit it on earbuds. Just trying to hit pause and then having to restart. So those are things that I love with the Sonys. What I really love about the Sennheisers is there's just this crisp, clean, smooth clarity that I just really enjoy with my music when I'm listening to them. I love the Sonys. However, I'm thinking I'm liking these a lot better because I'm getting a lot more of that. The bass is awesome. I think I listened to about 15, 20 songs and I literally went downstairs and told Ryan that I absolutely love these earbuds. So I think they're incredible.
All right, so are these worth $330? Well, when you take into account the next-gen technology of the biometric sensor that is in the earbuds, for all of you fanatics out there for exercising, for sports, running, whatever it is to track along the way, also when you consider that the sport sound of these is no slouch at all, this is an excellent sounding earbud, I gotta say. And it will get you up and moving and up and going, everything that you need to do. And fit, comfort, and build from Sennheiser, as always, is top notch with this earbud. And I've been very impressed with the total package that they have here. To me, it's justified, but I would like to know what you think in the comments down below. So definitely let me know. All right, guys, I appreciate you all watching and I will see you in the next one.